Let's look at a little more practical implementation of adding classes based on certain contexts. Okay, I'm going to jump back to the resource pack directory and go ahead and open up the 7th step, which is called conditional classes for template.php. Go ahead and copy the entire code and paste it over the code that's currently in your template.php file and save it. And so what we're doing here is adding a particular class to the body tag based on the role that a user has. We're looking specifically for whether the user is authenticated. So if in array, and then we're checking for authenticated user inside of the user variables array of roles, we're going to add a class to the classes array called body authenticated. And from this, we can then add particular styling to our theme based on this particular class. So make sure that this is saved. And next, let's go ahead and add some styling to our theme based on this new class. Instead of overriding our style.css file from Bartik, let's go ahead and create a local.css file to contain these changes. I'm going to jump back to the resource pack directory, and let's go ahead and take the first step to adding a CSS file, which is adding it to the .info file. I'm opening up the 8th step, which is called adding CSS file. Go ahead and copy this entire code, and then open up your .info file in your theme directory, in your bat overrides theme directory. So right here, sites all themes, bat overrides info. And paste the code over what's currently there. And the only line that we're adding here is style sheets all, and then empty brackets, and then equals local.css. Now this is the convention when creating CSS overrides within your theme. A lot of times it makes sense to make the style sheet changes in a local.css file instead of copying over an entire style sheet from the base theme and duplicating all that code. Okay, next let's go ahead and create our local.css file. Jump to the resource directory, and go ahead and copy the 9th step, which is called local CSS demonstrate new selector. Go ahead and copy and paste it into your themes bat overrides folder, and paste it. And let's go ahead and rename this local.css, and go ahead and open it in your editor. Okay, this is a very simple style sheet. There's just a single selector and a single property. And the idea here is that we're emulating a user experience improvement for authenticated users. So we check for the body authenticated up at the top here. And then if our body has that class, we'll look for a class inside of it called block system powered by. Actually, this is an ID. And then we'll go ahead and hide that. Now this corresponds to the powered by Drupal link at the very bottom of the page. So let's just say that that's a symbol of an advertisement and we want to hide it from display if the user is authenticated. And that might just clean up the interface a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and jump to the browser, make sure everything is saved, and then jump to your browser. And let's flush all caches in order to rebuild the theme registry and register our new local.css file. Let's scroll down to the bottom. Now you see we don't have a powered by Drupal link down here anymore. If we jump to a browser where we are not logged in, you see here we're not logged in, let's go ahead and refresh the page, and we scroll down to the bottom, we'll see our link down at the bottom. Now this is just one example of using a conditional class in a wrapper div inside of our HTML in order to modify the output using CSS of virtually anything on the page. Now, we've used CSS examples so far, but this is also tremendously useful for JavaScript when we need particular JavaScript selectors in order to identify a certain part of the page based on certain conditions.